Hello, it is Monday the 19th of January 2026 and these are your news headlines. We begin with the deepening crisis at West Midlands Police, where the fallout from the Maccabi Tel Aviv fan ban scandal has intensified yet again. Former Chief Constable Craig Guildford's retirement was announced on Friday, just days after he admitted misleading MPs about his force's use of artificial intelligence that invented a football match which never took place. That fictitious match was then used to justify banning Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from attending the Europa League fixture against Aston Villa last year. And now, in a significant development, Police and Crime Commissioner Simon Foster, who had declined to sack Guildford despite having the power to, has confirmed he has referred him to the police watchdog. This comes on top of the Independent Office for Police Conduct already using its own powers to call in the case. The IOPC says it has examined a wealth of evidence about the force's planning for the match and that unanswered questions remain about individual roles, duties and decision-making. Director General Rachel Watson said new information had been received from West Midlands Police in the last 24 hours and further evidence has been requested from His Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary and Fire and Rescue Services. Their investigation will scrutinise the briefings and intelligence reports provided to the Safety Advisory Group, the material that underpinned the decision to ban supporters. Watson also confirmed the watchdog has now received a voluntary conduct referral relating to one senior officer and a staff member over the force's use of AI. Political pressure continues to build. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philip called Guildford's conduct appalling and described the situation as a pack of lies from start to finish. Conservative MP Nick Timothy accused Simon Foster of being missing in action. Inside the force, Acting Chief Constable Scott Green said West Midlands Police must take immediate action to repair the damage caused and restore public confidence, warning that losing trust undermines the core principles of British policing. Acting Deputy Chief Constable Jen Mattinson has been asked to undertake a voluntary referral to the IOPC regarding any recordable conduct matters involving senior officers. Guildford's retirement means he keeps his full pension after 32 years of service, a decision that continues to anger many who had called for him to be dismissed. Support honest journalism. Make sure you like, leave a comment and subscribe. No bias, no bullshit, only the facts. Next, the government is preparing to expand the pool of people who can be recalled from military service. Under the new Armed Forces Bill, the maximum recall age for veterans will rise from 55 to 65. The aim is to strengthen Britain's readiness for conflict by increasing the size of the Strategic Reserve, which includes former regulars still liable for service, as well as a wider recall reserve used in emergencies. Around 95,000 people are currently estimated to be liable for recall. Lieutenant General Paul Griffiths said the reforms will allow the armed forces to draw on a wealth of expertise from veterans when it matters most. The legislation also lowers the threshold for mobilisation, allowing reservists to be recalled for warlike preparations rather than only in situations of national danger or attack. The changes take effect from spring 2027 and will not apply to veterans who have already left unless they opt in. The Ministry of Defence says the reforms mirror the innovative use of reserves by Ukraine and reflect the growing emphasis NATO allies are placing on their own reserve forces. Alongside this, the government is exploring ways to boost recruitment, including a new military gap year scheme for under 25s launching in March this year. In the courts, a Chinese student has been jailed for making false rape allegations against a serving police officer and warned she may face deportation. Hao Li, 29, was sentenced to 6 years in prison after being convicted of perverting the course of justice. Durham Crown Court heard that her false allegation led to the officer being arrested, held in custody for 35 hours, and suspended for 5 months. The judge said it was only the officer's foresight in leaving his phone recording, capturing an earlier consensual encounter, that prevented him from being charged. Lee had fled the UK before her case was heard, but was arrested at Manchester Airport on her return last year. WhatsApp messages she sent to the officer admitted the allegation was false and asked for help to avoid getting into trouble. Judge Nathan Adams said her actions risked deterring genuine victims from coming forward and had caused significant harm to the officer involved. Lee was also given a 6-year restraining order and told she will likely be deported to China after serving about half her sentence. It is interesting to note that her sentence is longer than some that are handed down in actual rape cases. And finally, a 62-year-old man from Cornwall has been jailed for 20 years after a jury rejected his claim that he was sleepwalking when he repeatedly raped and abused his wife. The defendant, who cannot be named to protect his ex-wife, had argued he may have been suffering from sexsomnia, a rare sleep disorder involving sexual behaviour during sleep. But a neurological expert told the court that violence and aggression are extremely rare in genuine cases, and the jury concluded he had knowingly subjected his wife to years of abuse. Truro Crown Court heard that the assaults happened roughly once a month over a decade. The victim described living in fear and said she repeatedly told him what he had done and urged him to seek medical help. She eventually confided in a colleague and her sister and kept a coded diary documenting the abuse. She also said she felt unable to leave because he threatened she would never see the children again. The defendant claimed he had no memory of the assaults and insisted he would not accuse her of lying, but the jury convicted him of 5 rapes, 3 attempted rapes, and 1 count of sexual assault, covering offences between 2006 and 2017. He has been sentenced to 20 years in prison and placed on the sex offenders register for life. He better hope that none of his cellmates suffer with sexsomnia. Anywho, those are your news headlines for today, Monday the 19th of January 2026. Thank you very much for listening. Don't miss the next bulletin. Subscribe, like and comment today. No bias, no bullshit, just straight reporting.